Hello and welcome to episode 108 of my Wurm Unlimited tutorial series. This episode is going to be on making a dredge and then, you guessed it, doing some dredging. The art of dredging. Say hello, Raynstorm.
Hi everybody.
What I wanted to show you the beginning of this episode is how the path down the hill ended up, how it finished. Now I could say that I'd completed this path, but I don't think Raynstorm would let me get away with that, because Raynstorm spent ages and ages perfecting this path. So if I just activate my shovel to show you, you'll see that not only did she get all of the slopes on either side of the tiles to 12, being total OCD, she also got the middle flat, as you can see here, and it's like that all the way down. So now if I was to do a 6-hour episode, then no doubt I could do, well, alright, I won't say I'll do as perfect as Raynstorm has, but you know, I can get reasonably near to this. But unfortunately they're only 30-minute episodes. Well, try to be. I know normally I go over because of my waffling, but never mind. Okay, so as you can see, she's got this all perfectly laid out. Let's go down to where I can actually start on what this episode is about. You'll see the way that she's sort of zigzagged back and forth, and that's the way you get down really steep slopes. I like what she's done there with the corners. Very nice touch. That really is You're welcome. That really is the sign of a perfectionist, because there's no way on earth, this earth, that I would have thought of doing that. But that's Raynstorm for you. Total OCD.
Now if we were doing highways, these would be two tile wide roads, not just one.
Oh yeah, 2 tiles wide look much better. I totally agree with you there. So yeah, all the way down, weaving down the mountain. And this, my friends, is a lot of work. I won't tell you how long Raynstorm spent doing this, but it was a long time. And then don't forget, of course, to light your path with iron lamps all the way down. And if you're feeling especially in a trade skill mood, then make them different colours perhaps, or all the same colour. The choices are yours. Wurm really does bring out the creativity in you, however you want to do it, and you can make it look really beautiful if you take your time. As you can see here with this path, I mean, look how long it is, and it's been done perfectly. I do like that with the corners. That's such a good idea.
Well, it's easier to turn the corners that way.
Yeah, totally agree. Go past the combat pens, you all remember that episode, and it was a good one, I'm sure. Okay, so down here to where we're going to begin with the dredging episode. So let's park my wagon just here. Okay, what is dredging, I hear you ask? Well, you may have noticed, with a shovel you can only dig down 7 dirts below water level. I am going to demonstrate that, but when you get to 7 dirts down, 7 slopes down, you won't be able to dig anymore. So that's when you have to use a dredge, and then you can go even deeper. Now, you're probably asking how deep. Well, that's a combination of the quality level of your dredge and your digging skill. So you could say, how long is a piece of string? Because to everyone, they're going to have different bits of string, so obviously different lengths. Anyway, the dredge's main ability is to dig from below water level. Dredge quality, as well as your digging skill, like I say, affects the maximum depth you can dredge. To dredge deeper than 7 dirts below water level, you will need to be on a boat or a ship. Okay, some examples of why you would want to dredge. To make your dock better for your boats to moor at. if you built your dock in shallow water, for example, then you can dredge to make it deeper so the bigger boats can moor at your dock. You may have settled inland and you're on a public server and you want to trade with others, but there is a mountain in the way and you want to use your new Nar that you built. Well, with the dredge you can make a channel through the mountain. It might be, of course, that you're on an island with a mountain in the way. So not only have you got to make a channel through the mountain, but then you need the boat to get to the mainland. As most cases, especially with Wurm Online, people that you end up trading with always end to be on some remote island somewhere. So chances are you'll need to use a boat. So there you are, you can use a dredge to make a channel. You may want to make a moat around your castle for extra protection if you're on a PvP server. Nothing like draining the enemy's stamina before they get to you, because then they're an easy kill. There are no doubt endless reasons why you would want to dredge. Maybe you woke up this morning and thought, I have to dredge, or I will not feel whole. Yes, I know, Gamester, you're an incompetent nutter. Yes. Tell me something I don't know. So let's get started anyway with making a dredge. Okay, so we're going to need to use the forge. And the very first thing we're going to have to make is something that I've not made yet, or not shown you yet, which of course is steel. Because to make a dredge, it is going to need to be made out of steel lumps. So how do you make a steel lump? Right, okay, so you're going to need iron. So if I open the wagon, I should have some iron on here, which I have. And you're going to need some charcoal. Now, the most confusing thing for most people when they're going to make steel for the first time is realizing that your iron lumps do not need to be hot, but your charcoal does need to be glowing. And normally people get it the reverse way around. They think that the charcoal doesn't need to be hot and the iron needs to be glowing. Well, no, let's demonstrate to you that the iron can be cold and the charcoal though has to be glowing. So let's grab a load of charcoal. Okay, so to make a steel lump, what you'll do, activate a minimum of 1 kilogram of, well, actually it can be minimum whatever you want, but if you do smaller than 1 kilogram and you combine it then with the charcoal, as you're going to see, you're going to get such a tiny piece, it's hardly worth it. Now be aware though, okay, you can heat up your iron lumps and combine them all together if they're the same quality level. Don't go mixing quality level 50 with quality level 10 iron lumps, as you're going to ruin them. But then of course this is episode 108. You're well past making that mistake. So let's just get to the point, shall I? So right, the easiest way to make your steel is to make a massive lump of iron. So you will want to make it glowing hot, because then you can combine it. So let's grab this lumps and combine them together, and that just makes life a lot easier. Now you would not combine your charcoals. The reason for this is, okay, if you combine all your charcoals together and you have a massive lump of iron, it's going to create a massive lump of steel. Now when you're making steel lumps, it's a random factor, the quality level of the steel you make. Yes, it's going to use your metallurgy skill. It always happens to me. As soon as I think about a word, look at the word, brain locks up. Okay, just don't ask me to say it again. So you can all see who's watching that I've highlighted them. Oh no, now I've got to say it again. I've highlighted this skill. Now, if we right click on that and go to find on Wurmpedia, It doesn't mention it there. I was hoping it would, but obviously the higher your skill, okay, the higher the chance of the quality level of your steel lumps. Now, if you combine both your lumps together, you make a massive lump of steel, and it turns out at quality level 5, that's no good to man or beast. So the reason you keep all your charcoals single is because if they're all high quality, okay, you then can combine each one separately and get a separate chance. You'll end up with a load of lumps of all different quality levels. What I used to do when I was playing Wurm online, and I'd have 1,000 charcoal, and I'd have like I don't know, 50 lumps, 64 kilogram lumps of iron. What I would do is I would end up putting 8 cauldrons in the forge, or as many as I could fit in there, and as I make the steel lumps, separate them out into the cauldrons. So 70 quality levels in that one, 60 quality levels, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so that's the gist of it. Now let's make some steel then. So we'll activate the iron, and notice how much of the charcoal lump it will actually use. So I'll right click and go to create, resources, and lump. Now I've only got a metallurgy of 5.34, and yet I have a 77% chance, so you'll see it's not difficult. Anyway, let's click. You'll see now it's going through creating, and I created a steel lump. Notice it's only 26.70 quality level. So what that should tell you is that it's limited by the quality level of the iron lump. So let's put that iron lump back in there. Okay, let's now go to the 50 bin and grab some iron lumps. Okay, let's now, I can't combine these. I should have heated them up beforehand, but you know, I can't think of everything. Okay, notice that the charcoal only dropped by 0.20, so that means we can make another lump out of that. So activate your iron, which I've done. Now we'll right click excuse me, on the charcoal again, create resources, lump. There you go, so it's now taken that down to 10, and it's moved to the next one, but it failed, I believe. Or did it create it? No, it failed. See, because I've right clicked on the stack, it's now going to go through doing them all, although we are going to do it through the crafting window in a moment. Anyway, let's have a look at these lumps of steel. So you see they're all still low quality, even though... That's strange. I thought I'd move 50 quality level iron lumps. Oh, for goodness sake. Who's put quality level 26 iron lumps in the storage bin? Oh, wait a minute. It was me. Never mind. Okay. I was desperately trying to think of someone to blame, but then I realised the only fool on this island is me, so it had to have been me. So let's see if I can find an iron lump higher than 26 qualities. Guess who's got to go out mining at some point? Oh, don't tell me I've used all my iron lumps up. No, look, yes, we've got some 60. Oh, for goodness sake, let's get rid of these iron lumps.
Don't put them in the wrong bin.
I know, I'm putting them on my wagon. I know what I'm like when I'm recording. Brain is just not here. It's gone on holiday for the next 30 minutes or however long. Right, okay, so let's grab as many as we can. So now we've got 64 quality level. What I'm going to do, activate this iron lump. Now right click the... Whoops. The first thing you'll need to do is combine your charcoal, because you've dropped the overall weight of it, you'll notice, you see. So what you can do is, I don't want it to combine the whole stack though, so let's drop them in there. And let's just grab the ones where I've dropped them in weight and combine them. Thankfully they're still glowing. Okay, so let's activate now the 64, create lump. And there you go. Now you can notice it's not come out as a 64 quality level, it's 53. Two factors have caused that. One, my skill is still low. Two, I believe even if your skill was 100, it's still sometimes, very rarely admittedly, the higher your skill is, but it will still tend to randomly still drop you a lower quality lump. So that's why you don't want to do the whole lump at a big massive lump at a time, because if you luck out and it's a quality level 5, that's only going to be useful for creating your items, not for improving them. Because with steel, okay, it's rare because you have to make it yourself. So it's not like iron where you go down to an iron node, you mine up 1,000 iron and then you smelt it down and you're good to go. With steel, you've then got to turn them iron lumps into steel, so it's precious to you. And Core, do you remember, Raynstorm, when we was playing on Wurm Online, that would be one of the things that the thieves would always steal. They would always steal my steel lumps. So whenever I'd log in after a break away from Wurm, the first thing I would check is my bin with my steel lumps in. And lo and behold, they were always gone. So I guess at least my steel lumps were good quality. But yeah, they'd always steal my steel lumps every time. I'm sure that's why they followed us around and broke into our deeds.
Probably.
I
said probably.
Yeah.
The title wasn't it something to do with the platesmith or something?
That's right, yeah, because I walked around stupidly enough with the title platesmith. What an idiot. They'd say, look, there's the gamester, the complete fool. Let's follow him and raid his steel later, because we know the idiot's going to have a break soon. Yeah. Anyway, I'm drifting. So back to this. Basically, the most key important thing to remember about making steel lumps is the quality level of your iron lump and the skill of your metallurgy. Okay, your skill level in that. So for example, don't go using your quality level 90 iron if you've got a metallurgy skill under 50. Okay, practice when you first start doing this skill, okay, until you get it up to at least 30 or 40. Use iron lumps under 50, unless of course you've got a few bins full of quality level 80 and you haven't got no other iron, then by all means waste it. Well, it's not wasting because you'll still be getting your skill up. So there we are, that's the a golden tip for you. Train up your skill before you get to your high quality iron lumps, but your iron lumps are what denotes your quality of your steel. Right, okay, so there we are, we've made some steel. You can of course use the crafting window. So if I bring up the recipes, let's type in steel. There's the steel lump. So you can use this method, but you know what, it takes time mining iron and it's far too precious to go messing up. So I prefer to do it like this. You've got more control over it than just putting a stack and then just doing making steel. I prefer to go old school, doing it this method. Right, anyway, so there we are. You now know how to make steel lumps. Right, so we need to make this dredge. Let's put my charcoal back in here. Probably haven't got a thingy now to fit it in. Okay, so to make the dredge, the reason we're making steel lumps is because we need to make a dredge scraping lip. So for this we will use the crafting window. So in here we'll type dredge, and up here you can see, sorry about all these windows in the way, let's get rid of that one, we don't need that anymore. Okay, right, so here's what we need in order to make a dredge scraping lip. You're going to need 4 of these, by the way. Okay, I'm only going to make 1. I've made some previously to stop wasting your time. So I'm only going to make 1. So what you need is a large anvil and a steel lump. Excuse me. So let's put the steel lumps, the iron lumps in. Oh, these are my good quality. Let's make sure I do this right. I don't want to mess up my only last load of 64 quality levels. I will be mining. Let's open the right bin. Where is it? There it is. So that's where they're going to go. Right, okay. So here's our steel lumps, all at 0.40. Now, I'm not sure if they need to be hot. Well, what I'll do is I've heated some up already. Let's combine them. And we'll make a lump and then observe how much it uses. Okay, so let's add this now to the crafting window. And now we need to add the large anvil. Hopefully my bison's rear is not going to be in the way. No, it's not. Okay, so we'll right click on the anvil, add to the crafting window, and there we go, dredge scraping lip. So we'll create just 1. Let's have a look how much it uses. So it uses 1 kilogram. There we go. Nice and simples. Let's put that back in there because we don't need to waste the precious steel. It takes ages to make, so we certainly don't want to waste it. Okay. Oh, I've got more steel up there. That's 49 quality though. No, it's not. I thought I made it all 54. Well, I made some of it 54. Anyway, let's grab this and put it in the bin because I don't want to waste it. Far too precious. At least I'm not on a public server now, so I'll come back next week and it'll all be pilfered. Right, there we go. For the rest I don't care if it rots. Right, so we have our dredge scraping lip. Now we will need a square piece of cloth. Shown you how to make that previously. Can't remember what episode, but I'm sure it was a good one. And we'll need a rope. And 3 more of these scraping lips. Right, okay, I think we're good to go. Right, okay, so now what you need to do is activate the rope, right click the square piece of cloth, create, tools, dredge. But that's old school. Let's show you the new way because it is so delightful, the crafting window. Okay, so in here the dredge, we'll right click, add to the crafting window. We have the materials on us, so that's why it's appeared, and here we are, the dredge. Let's create. Okay, so let's add the unfinished to the crafting window. Now we need just the 4 dredge scraping lips, so we'll drop them there. Whack that to 4 and continue. And there we go, we have ourselves a dredge. See, weren't that bad. Okay, now a few points on the dredge. First of all, usage. Dredging works similar to digging. Move on top of the corner you want to dig at. Notice I say dig, not dredge. Right click the boat or ship you're on and select dredge. You do not have to right click on any tile in particular. The dredged material will appear inside the dredge. On bigger ships you may have to embark as passenger to get the option to dredge, because as the commander you might technically be too far away from the boat to use it. Or even as a passenger it might put you up in the crow's nest, then you can try dredging for a laugh. It is also a good idea to moor your ship or boat before dredging, but I'm going to be showing you all of this. You can dredge all kinds of material, for instance clay. However, clay, peat and tar tiles will only lower if the corner you are digging at is close to some terraformable tile type, so dirt or sand, etc, etc, etc. Quite reminds me of the King and I. Anyway, the material dug is generally determined by the tile you are closest to the tile closest to its northwest corner. Okay, you can you can improve a dredge. It will use the blacksmithing skill, but it will use your carpentry tools. So it will use the, let's see if I can find my carpentry tools. There we go, there's my carpentry tools. So it's going to use your carving knife, your file, your pelt, your mallet, and oh, what's the fifth one? Come and help me out, someone. Water, is it? Or I don't. Anyway, it doesn't matter, does it? For goodness sake, how deep do you want me to go? Okay, we're going to be going in the water soon. That's surely deep enough. Okay, so that's improving. That's the skill it uses and the tools it uses. Finally, a dredge can hold 2 piles of dirt. Yes, an amazing amount of dirt, I'm sure you will agree. Or 40 kilograms worth of heaps of sand, which is also 2. Or 36 clay, which amounts to 72 kilograms. So there, before it requires emptying. Right, okay, so you've now been overloaded with all the information you could possibly want to know about a dredge. Well, it was a great excuse for me to do a whole heap of waffling. Right, Raynstorm, if you could please summon me to where we're going to dredge, it will save the viewers a ton of time. And thank you very much, Raynstorm.
You're welcome.
Oh, it's a pretty night.
There you go. I even put some light out for you since you waffled so long it turned
on. I know. We didn't take into account that, did we? You know what it's like when I get started. It's like cranking up one of them.
I took it into account. You didn't.
Well, thank you. There we go. Look at that. Raynstorm has lit the area up nicely. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Right. Where to start? So the first thing I want to show you is okay, I said to you earlier that you can dig down into water to a slope level of 7, and you probably said, yeah, sure, we don't believe you. So okay, let's actually show you. So here we have a slope down into the water that's 3 slopes up. So if I dig in this corner, let's watch how deep I can make it. 4, 5, 6. Okay. So so there we go then. As I said earlier, you can dig 6 slopes down. Alright, I did say 7. For goodness sake, I'm getting old. What do you expect? I'm lucky the brain is still going at all, let alone getting it wrong by 1.
It might have been 7, but you dug earlier, remember? So you may have already lowered it some.
Yeah, no, there's no getting away from the fact that not only am I incompetent, I'm also losing my mind slowly as I get older. So you can dig 6 slopes down in water. After that, it's to the realms of dredging. So let's drop this dirt back down because I don't want to walk really slowly. Well, I won't, but let's just drop it back down. There we go. Okay, so let's now do some dredging. So when you get to your 6 slopes down, that's it. You need to get on your boat. Now, first of all, a couple of choices you can make. It might be that you only have a rowboat, in which case you won't be able to fit a crate onto your rowboat. So what you can do is, there's a saying, isn't there? What's that saying? You can bring the mountains to something or other, or you can't take the...
Yeah, you're just waffling some more. Just get going.
Oh, true. Anyway, all right. So you can't fit you can't fit a crate on your rowboat. So what you do is you make your crate on the shore and then just push it down into the water near to where you want to do lots of dredging. And as you can see, you can get it quite deep. There you go. You want it deep, you'll get deep here. Okay, so there we go. That now you won't be impeded. So let's get on my dinghy. Okay, now when we dredge, because it's only going to accept 2 dirt, we can keep the crate window open and drag and drop it. So it's not as painful as you first suspected. Okay, now can I see the slope? Only just. Great. So this is an 8 slope down, and I'm going to be doing this side because I'm closest to this corner. As you can see there, I'm just above it. And with I'll be showing you next in the Nar, but for now you can see that you can see the corners of the tiles easily enough. So let's dredge. What we do, you activate your dredge, right click on the boat, remember, not on the crate but on the boat, and left click dredge. You'll see the dredging bar go along and you'll see the slope drops down. So we're now at 9. We're going to dredge again. And it's at 10. Let's dredge again. And it won't let us. Why? Because your dredge is full. So what you do, just drag and drop it into your crate. Makes life a lot easier. So there we go. That is dredging that corner. So let's now raise the anchor. On that subject, I wonder how Dan is.
Who, Dan?
Yeah, Daniel.
Anchor?
Yeah.
He's doing fine. He just can't log in. He uses a Mac notebook and Windows for Mac, so it's not updating or something, so he hasn't been able to log in.
Oh, that's really sad. Oh, I hope he gets it all sorted out. I do miss him on this server.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been doing that tile corner over there, that one there. Now we're going to do this corner. Now, as luck would have it, I believe I'm close enough to that corner to just simply dredge. So let's give it a go. Yeah, there you go. So you can see, you go to each corner and you can finely and delicately get it to the exact depth that you want. Let's not disembark. So let's do another one. There you go. So that is how you can make your piers and ports, your moats. And you're saying, well, how can I make a moat if it's inland? How's the Nar going to fit in my moat? All right, it depends on the size of the moat you want. But what you can do is build your boat there specifically to make your moat, and then destroy it. That'll confuse the neighbours. Anyway, right. Let's now show you dredging from the Nar. If I can find the anchor. Oh, there it is. Oh, let's drop the dirt in there before I do this and disembark. Okay, so that's from the rowboat. Nice small boat, easily see the tile corners, but that's the plus. The minus, you can't fit a crate onto the dinghy, onto the rowboat. Okay, next the Nar, so let's get on. Okay, now it's not so bad as you would imagine. You'd have thought, huge ship like this, you aren't going to be able to see the corners of the tile. It's going to be a nightmare. No, if I can manage to line this Nar up on the corner of this tile, as you can see there, look at that. That's perfect, isn't it? For this corner. That is perfect. I could marvel at my boat parking skills for hours, but I think the video would take much too long to upload, so I'll just leave it there. Okay, let's now open up the inventory of the Gnar. You can see the benefit with this, of course, you can have a load of crates. So let's now dredge. Activate the dredge, right click the boat and dredge. And there we go. So exactly the same as the rowboat, just bigger, takes up more space. One other thing as well, okay, is you really are not going to use a Gnar to do your dredging. Why? Let's show you. This is why you're not going to use a Gnar to actually do the dredging from. You are going to have your Gnar there with you, but you're not going to be dredging from it. I'm not making sense? Well, let's show you. So we're going to unmoor, raise the anchor, and this is why you're not going to dredge from the Gnar. Because when it's on the water, and depending on the wind direction as well, it goes so quickly. So if I turn it around so it's going into the wind or away from it, you'll see that the Gnar goes a lot quicker. Although it doesn't seem to be now, it was whizzing around earlier when I was on it. So okay, perhaps that's mute because it doesn't seem to be very quick now, but when I was on it earlier. Another thing that you can do, however, is moor your Gnar like so, and then use your rowboat. So you park the Gnar up with a load of crates in it, and you park it near the where you want to dredge, and then you get in your rowboat and dredge around the Gnar, because you'll have the benefit of all of its crates. And you can all say thank you to Raynstorm for that, because she was the one who thought of that idea, and I thought that was actually quite brilliant. So definitely wanted to include that.
And then with the Gnar, they can, once they get it all filled up and you're done dredging, when you're in your Gnar, you go next to it and you just load the crate.
Yeah. So there you are. Now, like I say, there's loads of reasons you can dredge. One of the most brilliant has to be when you're way inland, and this doesn't so much apply to you Wurm Unlimited players, but for those of you that are playing Wurm online and you're on the Chaos server, the PvP server, or you're on a public PvP server and you're inland, then build yourself a massive moat around your deed and put a load of...
It needs to be low enough to water level to do that.
Yeah, well, you know, some flat raised land so they're right up in the clouds, some keep it at low level because there's benefits like a giant moat. Now, if you get your archery up to 80 and you've got an 80 quality bow and 80 quality arrows, and they're having to swim and wade across this moat, the chances are they're going to be dead before they even get to your side of the land. You know, so there's some fun to be had with moats. Now, Raynstorm, have I missed anything?
I had a thought and it just kind of escaped me when you asked me.
Well,
like inland, where you might be inland and, well, on the creative server, for example, in Central Lakes, it's very shallow there, so you can't really get big boats. So what we had to do is go around and dredge that dirt out, allowing big boats to come into Central Lakes. We actually created a channel. We had to use the dredge to do that as well, but we created a channel, and then we dredged out a lot of the dirt in Central Lakes area so that big boats can go in there.
Oh, that's just given me a brilliant idea for the next episode. The next episode will be us taking everybody with us to show them all of these locations. We'll show them where we dredged there, where we dredged the channel, so they can get ideas again on that. and anywhere else you can think of that you've been dredging. Look at that, right on cue. Now that weren't set to 30 minutes, I set it to 40 minutes because I realised it would take a bit longer with all the waffling I wanted to do. So, what a brilliant idea, Raynstorm. Well done. The next episode will be us touring the places and showing some examples of good dredgemanship. There, I've made up a new word for the dictionary. Of course, it's Gamester's Dictionary.
Now, if you would have stopped waffling, we might have been able to show them in this episode.
Oh, come on, there's no chance of that, for goodness sake. Right, would you like to say goodbye to everyone?
Good night, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, Raynstorm, and thank you for joining me in this episode again. Your help has been invaluable. Thank you ever so much. Okay, to the rest of you, wherever you are in the world, God bless you and keep every last one of you safe. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed this episode on dredging. Goodbye.